After a verbal attack on an American commander, new backlash tonight against the commander-in-chief.
Bill McRaven, retired admiral, Navy SEAL, 37 years, former head of U.S. Special Operations.
Hillary Clinton fan.
Special Operations.
Excuse me, Hillary Clinton fan.
He was a Navy SEAL.
Wouldn't it have been nice if we got Osama bin Laden a lot sooner than that? Wouldn't it have been nice?
Admiral McRaven oversaw the raid that killed Osama bin Laden. Robert O'Neill, who supports Donald Trump, says he fired the fatal shot on that mission.
Something like this is not about Republicans or Democrats. It's about America. Admiral McRaven is the reason that my SEAL team got it, and President Obama approved it. I mean, that's just as simple as it gets.
The president's criticism comes after McRaven called his attacks on the media perhaps the greatest threat to democracy in my lifetime. Even now, he stands by that. Quote, I admire all presidents, regardless of their political party, who uphold the dignity of the office. McRaven recently called for his own security clearance to be revoked in solidarity with former CIA Director John Brennan, who had his clearance pulled by the administration this summer.
His integrity, his courage, again, and his lifelong commitment to this country's defense is something that I think even Donald Trump should hold up and revere and respect.
It's not the first time the president has insulted members of the military or their families. He criticized a Gold Star family after they opposed him in 2016. During a condolence call, he offended the widow of a sergeant killed in Niger. And last week, he did not visit Arlington National Cemetery on Veterans Day, prompting a rare admission of regret.
I should have done that. I was extremely busy on calls for the country.
The president has not personally visited a combat zone yet, but says he plans to. President Bush, remember, went to Baghdad 8 months after the Iraq War began. President Obama within 3 months of his inauguration.
Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.